Peace, y'all. Welcome to the Void of Thought. We're all about athletic self-mastery. Leave a like on the video, comment, and subscribe if you'd like. Stay tapped in. There's plenty more videos coming. And check out my Patreon too. We're building something very special over there. All the links will be in the description. But for now, let's get on with this knowledge. Yo, so it is absolutely crucial for you to trust yourself. And I'm living proof of that. I mean, I'm not talking about just as a basketball player. I'm talking about just in life in general. It is absolutely crucial that you trust yourself and fully trust yourself and obey yourself. Obey what your spirit, what your intuition is telling you. Because if you don't, you will pay the price. And again, I'm a living testimony of that. I've been through that so many times in my life. And this is like the biggest lesson that I'm learning right now in my life. Trust myself and really execute what my spirit and intuition are telling me to do. Because if I don't do that, then it's bad. It's terrible for me. There's always something that goes wrong within myself or within my external reality as a result of me not trusting myself. Like, for example, I always use the example of the story of how I went to college against my will and ended up dropping out. And so, going back to that story again, I went back to college after taking a year off because I went to JUCO 2 years, and then I was supposed to transfer after that, but I didn't. I took a year off just to train and get better. And also while I was doing that, I was really mastering myself. I was focusing heavily on my spirituality, my self-mastery, alongside basketball. That's when I first started pairing the two together, self-mastery and basketball. And that's when I made the biggest gains that I've ever had in my life. But being that I didn't trust myself fully, I went against myself and went back to college. And of course, if you're familiar with my videos, if you heard me before, after I went back to college, that's when I wound up back in depression, had unbelievable amounts of stress and anxiety and everything. And that was just a result of me not trusting myself. And so my spirit was telling me the whole time that I was at school, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. And I kept going against it. I said, no, I'm here. I chose to be here. And the reason why I chose to be there wasn't fully of my own volition. It was because of my parents and my family. But I was trying to stay strong with myself, saying that, no, I chose to be here, so I'm going to see this through. I'm going to finish this out. But that wasn't the right decision. You see, at that time in my life, I was learning the same lesson that I'm learning right now, but not as high of a degree that I am right now. And no pun intended right there, but I was learning that lesson to really trust myself and to walk on my own 2 feet and to make my own decisions for my own self. And being that at that time I was, 19, 20, maybe 21. I think I was going on 21 or something like that. But I was still young. And growing up, I was in a fortunate position to have, both parents and a good loving family to always support me. And at the same time, as great as that was, it didn't allow me, I didn't really see the lessons that I was being presented with to learn how to trust myself at a younger age. Because, even going back to high school, I didn't like school at all. I didn't like school. I didn't want to go to college, but I still went because, I thought it was the right thing to do. I thought it was what was best for me because I didn't really know what was best for me at the time. I just knew that my spirit was telling me not to go to college. But at that time, I wasn't really fully tapped in. I was still going through my spiritual awakening at that time. So I wasn't really privy to all the things that I know now. Of course, those were all learning lessons, and I'm glad that I went through all of them. But even back then, my spirit was telling me, nah, school ain't for you. College ain't for you. There ain't nothing for you here. Of course, I learned lessons while I was there, but it wasn't anything like walking my path. And when I say walking my path, I know my sole purpose. And my sole purpose is this path right here. So I'm walking this path every single day in order to achieve and make progress on my sole purpose. And that's what I mean by that. And everyone has a sole purpose, and I'll get to that later on in the video. But I didn't trust myself back then. And that was another reason why I wound up in depression the very first time I was in depression, because I didn't trust myself. Man, at that time I didn't pinpoint it. Like, it wasn't just solely going to school. Like, there's other things in my life that I wasn't trusting myself with. Like, for example, like, it doesn't have to always be like it always comes down to making the right decision. But what I'm trying to say is, it's not always just a decision that's based on like you and your path. It could be like romantic relationships, who you choose your partner to be. And back then, like, of course I won't say any names, but my very first relationship back then, it was, it was long distance. We met online and all that stuff. And there was so many signs telling me that I shouldn't be with this person. But being that it was my first relationship, and back then I didn't really have any guidance to go off of as far as relationships go. Like, my parents were there again, like they're always telling me that I don't need a relationship right now, just focus on school and basketball and stuff. And I was always hearing that growing up. And so that's what I listened to. That's what I did. But when I first started, like when I started having my spiritual awakening, that's when I first started breaking out of the mold of my parents. And so breaking out of that mold, part of that was me having my first relationship. And like, in my heart, I knew that I wasn't supposed to be with that person, but I was still choosing to be with them every day anyways. And there's so many signs telling me not to be with this person, because like, I remember I would try to like talk about my passions with them. Like, we connected through hip hop, which is dope, but I tried talking about them with basketball. They didn't care at all. They had no interest at all. And I won't get too deep into any of the stories, but I remember there was one time when, like, I'm sure like y'all basketball heads, y'all hoopers, like, you remember when Klay Thompson dropped 37 points in one quarter? Like, that to me, like, that was like, oh my God, bro, what the heck just happened? I remember, like, I remember I watched that game. I turned it on just at the right time. Like, I remember I think I just got home from practice or something, or workout or something like that. And I turned the game on. It was like halfway. I forgot. It was either the second quarter or the third quarter. I think it was the third quarter. But I turned it on when it was like the quarter before that was just winding down. And then I caught the quarter that Klay Thompson caught fire, and it was like, whoa. This is unbelievable. And this is like another video topic that I'm going to talk about later in another video of greatness inspiring greatness. But man, like, I was just blown away by his experience, man. Because like 37 points in one single quarter in 12 minutes, that's incredible. That's beyond words to me. And I tried sharing my excitement with my girlfriend at the time. And I remember her literal response was, so go cry about it. And to me, I'm like, wait, what? Like, go cry? Like, that, like, it didn't hit me that, like, initially, that she just didn't care at all. And it took me a little while to process what was actually happening. And I was super offended by that. But again, like, that was another sign to not be with this person. But that was a sign that I didn't heed to. I didn't pay attention to. I still say, you know what, like, I really like this person, so I'm still gonna stick it out. I'm still gonna, do my best to make it work for us. But long story short, ended up, I should have listened to my intuition. I should have listened to my spirit. And that was the first time that I got my heart broken. And again, like this, like, there's good and bad in every single thing that we do. Every single thing that we do. Nothing is 100% good and nothing is 100% bad. There's always good and bad. There's always a balance. And in this case, it was a lot of bad. I mean, it was good because I'm glad that I got my heart broken, which sounds crazy to say, but I am glad that I got my heart broken because it taught me a lot. That taught me to really go deeper into myself and to learn more about myself and to do all the deeper healing, the shadow work and all that stuff, which we'll be talking about later on in future videos. But see, that was good, and it was also bad because I didn't trust myself, and I experienced at that point, the worst pain that I've ever experienced. And that was another reason for me to go into depression. But at the same time, there's always good that comes out of it. Like the rose that grew from concrete, Tupac. Like, in that situation, I was the rose that grew from concrete because I put myself in a bad situation. No, I thought it was good, but my intuition was telling me no. I didn't trust myself, and so I experienced a lot of pain. But then out of that pain, I grew a lot. I grew tremendously. That was like another catalyst on my spiritual awakening journey. But anyways, getting back to trusting myself, if I would have trusted myself, then I wouldn't have had to go through that type of pain. And then moving forward, when I went back to college after taking the year off, this was my time to learn the same exact lesson, but this time to a higher level, to a higher degree. Because it was like the same thing. Like, my intuition kept telling me, nah, school ain't for you, college ain't for you, don't do it. But I did it anyways. And you know what happened? Like, it forced me into depression, like yada yada yada. But had I listened to myself and not gone to college, then I would have been I would have found my true path, my soul purpose even sooner. Because instead of, going to college, and not to say that I wasted time, but it was time that I spent where I could have been focused on figuring out my soul purpose and my path to take. And instead of doing that, I was there at college. And yeah, I learned a lot of good lessons there. I met a lot of great people there, which I love to this day. But at the same time, I didn't have to go there. It wasn't right for me to go in my spirit. Because, like, let me back it up for a second. Like, us as beings, especially as spiritual beings, like, we come here with a soul purpose, aka a mission. We come here with something to fulfill. We come here with something to do. And I know what mine is now, but I want to encourage all of us hoopers especially, to realize that it's bigger than basketball. I know y'all heard that before. It's way bigger than basketball. It's universal. But you won't know that. You won't know what your soul purpose is unless you trust yourself. And in this situation where I didn't trust myself and going back to college and everything, it forced me to trust myself, because I physically felt ill. I physically felt bad. I mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every aspect possible, I felt terrible. I felt depressed. I felt low. I felt down in the dumps every single day. Like, there's a lot of days where I just didn't want to wake up, and I wouldn't explicitly tell myself that, like, I want to, I won't say it, but I won't commit anything. But there's days where it's just like, man, like, I really just, like, I don't even want to open my eyes, man. I don't want to do anything today. I just want to lay in bed and go back to sleep and be in my dreams. Like, that's how it was for me almost every single day when I was going through that, because I didn't trust myself. And when you don't trust yourself, your spirit is always gonna find ways to slap some sense back into you and say, like, yo, you're not on your right path right now. Get back on your path, or else I'm gonna keep slapping you silly until you hurt too much to where you have to go back to your path. Then I'll stop slapping you. Like, that's exactly how it is. And that's what it was like for me until I finally made the decision to drop out. And that was me stepping further into my truth. That was me saying that, okay, know it, it's my spirit, I honor you. My higher self, I honor you, I respect you, I love you, I'm grateful for you. I'm going to trust you, aka I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to trust that I know what's best for myself. I trust that all the spiritual work that I put in and getting to know myself, all the self-mastery work that I put in, which are really both the same, but all the work that I put in and learning myself, knowing myself, getting to my core, getting to the essence of who I am, of what I am, all that stuff ain't in vain. I'm actually going to put that to good use. I'm going to live that. I'm going to embody it every single day. So in making that decision, that's what led me to getting back on my true path, which is where I'm pretty much headed now. I'm very close to doing that, because I'm in another position where my spirit and my intuition is screaming at me. No matter what I do, I have to trust myself. I cannot keep going against myself. Because like just recently, I had an experience where it was actually going on for a few days. I had an experience where I was starting to feel like pretty ill. And, you know, with like the vid that's going around. Like I was thinking like, wait, I don't have that. What is this? Like, what is this that I have? Like, I don't get sick, so what is this? And it was just literally like a physical manifestation of me feeling bad in my spirit for not trusting myself. And the more what I'm finding out right now, what I'm discovering, what I'm learning is that the more that I trust myself, whenever I don't trust myself in some type of way, it's even more apparent. It shows up even faster, and it shows up even more severe. Because for the past few days, before 2 days before this video goes live, I was feeling like pretty bad physically. Like I was feeling weak. Like even during my workout, I was feeling like kind of weak. I was feeling like I had like this. It wasn't a headache or anything, but I felt like really drowsy. I felt like every time I closed my eyes, I just wanted to go to sleep. Even though physically I felt like I had energy, but mentally and emotionally I was just completely drained. And so even in doing like simple exercises, I'll start feeling good. I feel like I could jump out of the gym and everything. But then as I was doing them, like I felt the mental and emotional fatigue setting in. And then I just felt like super tired and drained after I finished my set. So it's like, man, I gotta take a rest, bro. Like after just doing like one set of squats, it's like, whoa, hold on, man. I gotta take a rest. I felt great doing the squats, but now it's like, whoa, hold on, man. Let me chill for a second. But moving forward, and I was gonna say, after the workout, I started to like meditate and analyze myself. Like, yo, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling like just tired? And then I started like that later that night, I started feeling like pretty depressed, pretty down, like pretty sad. I didn't know why. I felt like there was like this emptiness inside of me, and I didn't know why. And then like the next day I started meditating even more, going deeper into myself. Then I figured out, yo, I'm not being fully true with myself right now. I'm not really fully embodying my truth. I'm taking too much time out of my day to focus on other people, when my spirit is telling me I freaking need to focus on myself, man. What I'm doing right now, what I'm building an empire. And this is like the top priority in my life right now. And so if I'm giving my time and energy and effort to other people too much, then I'm taking time away from what I'm supposed to be doing right now, what my spirit and my intuition are guiding me to do right now. So that's a version of me going against myself. That's me going against myself. And I can't be doing that. And like I said, like the more that I trust myself, what I'm finding is whenever I don't trust myself, it hits even more severe. And so that was a physical manifestation of me not trusting myself. And had I not meditated on that, had I not gotten to the source of it, gotten to the root of it, then it could have turned into something even worse. And that's what happens to a lot of people all the time. They, for years, they don't trust themselves. They go against themselves, and they end up with some type of illness, some type of disease and stuff. But nah, man, I can't. I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. So, moral of the story is, man, always trust yourself. Always trust yourself. What your spirit and your intuition are telling you to do it. Do it no matter what. Do it to the best of your ability and trust it, because it will always work out in your favor. Even if it's tough, even if you're going against like your conscious self, or you're going against your ego, saying like, yo, but this person, they need me, man. Like that. Nah, man. Trust yourself. It will always work out. Yeah, that person may need you, or you may need to like pay this or whatever, but as long as you trust yourself, it will work out. Because unless you're just like completely neglecting people or neglecting your responsibilities and stuff, that's when it won't work out. But as long as you're doing what you can and you're still staying true to yourself, it will always work out in the best way possible, no matter what. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Of course, I can talk for days about all this type of stuff because I'm just expressing myself. I'm sharing my life experiences and how it's helped me to become a better human being and also a better basketball player. Because if you practice this stuff that I'm teaching you and apply it to yourself on the court, man, trust me, you'll go to a new level. But yo, I just want to say peace, y'all. Thank you for tuning in again. This is Razir of The Void of Thought. I love y'all. Until next time, peace.